Hello, this is Coffee Breaks with Anna again. Welcome to my video about 5 mistakes you should not do when you're making your job application. So, today I want to talk about job application mistakes because recently I have been viewing a lot of job applications and I have just noticed that there are a few things that are like very minor and that could improve everyone's chances on getting into the shortlist that the recruiter or the hiring manager makes. So here's my list, and I hope that next time you can be on my list. So my first point is to use very consistent language and double check your CV, like double, triple, quadruple check your CV, and preferably do it also with somebody else. So ask your family member or your friend to check your application for you. And this inconsistency part is something that I've noticed that people who have obviously checked their spelling errors, they haven't necessarily noticed this because this is something that the autocorrect program doesn't necessarily do for you. But at the same time, it can make your application letter seem very unprofessional and even sometimes hard to understand. And what I mean is that you should choose one form of making your application letter. I personally think that using just the first person view is oftentimes quite nice. But at least avoid changing in between, first telling about what you do and then telling about your like in a we form, like, oh, we did this and we did that, and then telling in third person about yourself. This makes for inconsistency and does not look nice. Second thing is, please leave out those things that are quite obvious. So things that I should and I do take for granted, that you are a nice person. Like unless you show me at the interview stage that you obviously are not a nice person, then I assume that most people are nice, most people are hardworking, and most people come to work on time, and these kinds of things. Unless there's some sort of a reason why you would think that for this specific job other people are not coming to work on time and you would be an exception in this, then of course mention it. But generally, at least for the positions that I have recruited for, that should be quite obvious. So instead, use that limited space for telling about all that is actually very interesting about you. What are your transferable skills? What have you done previously? What do you want to do now and why? What motivates you about this position and about this company to apply? Third thing is, don't tell me anything that I don't need to know. Actually, you know that it's illegal for a recruiter to screen you based on quite a few things related to family and your marital status, your gender, etc. At least here in Finland it is. So I personally prefer that if I don't ask for those, don't tell them. I recognize that in recruiters, just like in all human beings, there can be bias that's even unconscious. So the more of these things you can leave out, the better. Of course, sometimes the job application might ask for things such as your location, your home address, and if it forces you to put those, then just put them. Sometimes I know it can be, for example, because in some jobs we can't give work permits to people who are coming from abroad and who don't have a work permit here yet. So that can be the reason for example, wanting to know if you live in Finland currently already or not. So, the fourth thing is make your job application just the right size for the current position that you are in. And I know this sounds terrible and it sounds like, whoa, I couldn't have figured that on my own. What a great piece of advice. But I hope that this explanation will help you a little bit. So I think the length of your application depends also on the level of job and your own current experience. So if you don't have a lot of current experience in the field that you are applying for, I recommend to really try and argue your case with transferable skills. So let's say that you're a student right out of school and you don't have this particular experience, but tell about your school projects. What did you do during school time that might have made you a better candidate for this position? Did you go to a student organization, for example, and take a responsible role there? I, for example, if I'm recruiting for example, a summer employer, I'd appreciate if you have done something maybe related to your field as a hobby. So, and of course, if you're changing careers, it can be good to think of, okay, so yes, it's a completely different field, but surely there are some things that are done in a similar way. Are you particularly good at organizing, for example? And don't just say, I'm good at organizing. Please tell me about a situation where you organized something in a very effective way, or whatever way it was that was positive. Then on the other hand, if you are a seasoned professional, I don't necessarily expect as much of a cover letter from you. I might not actually expect a cover letter at all if your CV already explains to me what kind of key achievements you have had. But if you do still choose to make a cover letter, it would be nice to focus particularly on your motivation and why you're applying for this position. Especially if you might seem too senior for a particular position, then it's good to explain why are you still applying. My last tip, maybe the most important tip, is please don't just spray and pray. If I get job applications that have obviously been sent to 100 different places, they most likely will not make it to my shortlist at all. So you most likely will not make it to an interview where, you could be a great person, but it's just that I don't believe that other recruiters will enjoy it either, that you're treating the company like mess. This is something that most candidates always complain about with recruiters, is that recruiters just treat us like we're just some mess. But I personally try to take an approach that every candidate is a human being and should be treated in a personal way, especially once we have gotten to talk with you and stuff. So I think you should be getting some sort of responses from me, and then I think it's fair for you to also give us something personal, something that relates to the company that you are applying for. So, thanks for watching. I post on Tuesdays, so if you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and check out my other videos. I have, for example, a video about how to ace your job interview. So keep on watching. Bye now.